Welcome back to Chat Like a Native. Today we're tackling something really specific. It's for you if you know the words, you know the grammar. But when someone asks you something out of the blue, your mind just, well, goes blank. That's spontaneous conversation skill.
Right, that moment of panic. But here's the thing. We want to show you that speaking confidently on the spot, it's not some magic trick. It's actually a set of habits you can train. And we'll give you some frameworks and phrases you can use like today to stop the rambling and just sound clear even when you're under pressure.
Okay, let's get into it. So the big enemy here, the thing that causes that freeze, is apparently something called decision overload. Your brain's trying to figure out everything at once, right? Like what tense, which word, what example. It's too much.
Exactly. And that cognitive load just shuts you down. So the fix is to stop thinking sentence by sentence. Instead, you think in frames. Think of frames as tiny skeletons. They give your thoughts order even when your brain feels like it's scrambling. They handle the structure for you.
Skeletons. Okay, I get it conceptually. But hang on, if I'm already panicking, isn't trying to remember some acronym like PRP just adding another thing to worry about? How does that help?
That's a really fair question. Because, yeah, at first it might feel like one more step. But think about it this way. A frame is one big structural decision. Speaking totally off the cuff involves like hundreds of tiny decisions about grammar, words, examples. Committing to a frame, say PRE. Your brain just has 4 slots to fill. Point, reason, example, point. It's like having a map.
Okay, a map. I like that. Let's make it concrete. PRP, point, reason, example, point. You have that tech example.
Yeah, a classic one. Imagine you need to argue for rolling back a software update, right? Pretty high stakes. So your point, I think we need to roll back now. Simple, reason. Because user impact is climbing fast, it's becoming unacceptable. Then example needs to be specific. For instance, latency doubled right after that 10 a.m. patch. We saw it in the monitors. And finally, loop back to the point. So rolling back is the immediate action needed. See how structured that sounds, even if you literally just thought of it.
Yeah, that's solid. Sounds confident. Okay, what about another frame, like for problem solving? The problem solution benefit one.
Oh yeah, that one's gold for workplace situations. It moves you from just talking about the problem to what you're doing about it. So the telecom example. Okay, the problem is we're seeing dropped calls on roaming, especially in Sector 7. Then, solution. So we're going to widen the monitoring window for those lines. And the benefit. This means we'll catch those intermittent failures better, but without getting a ton of false alarms. Clean, right. Problem, solution, benefit.
Very clean. And for things that happen over time, like updates or changes.
Past, present, future. Super intuitive. Think about explaining a process change. Instead of just rambling, you structure it. Past, we used to handle tickets manually. Present, now it's semi-automated, and look, response time is already down 30%. Future. Next up, we'll integrate Slack alerts. That should basically eliminate missed tickets. The structure makes it clear.
And the simplest one? Maybe. The rule of 3.
Absolutely. When you feel like you're about to list 10 things, just stop yourself. Pick the top 3. It forces focus. Like, okay, there are 3 main risks here. Time, budget, and quality. Boom. Done. Instantly sounds organized.
Okay, so for everyone listening, the big takeaway here is you've actually got to practice these, like out loud.
Seriously, grab any random topic, what you had for lunch, the weather, anything, and force it into one of these frames. Say it out loud. You need to build that muscle memory so the frame comes to mind before you start talking, not after.
Right. So frames give us the structure, the skeleton, but we still need to, put words into that structure quickly. That's where these chunks come in.
Exactly. Formulaic language or chunks. These are basically ready-made phrases. Fluent speakers grab them super fast. They help you organize your thoughts, buy yourself a second to think, link ideas, and crucially, they cut down on mistakes because you're using a phrase you already know is correct.
Those shortcuts to sound smoother. Okay, let's break down the types. Starting strong is tough. How do openers help?
Big time. Instead of that, I guess, you sound instantly more composed. Try something like, that's a great question, here's how I see it. Or maybe, from my experience, there are 2 main things here. It just signals you're ready.
Okay, I like those. Now, the lifesavers. Buy time phrases. Because that silence when you're put on the spot feels awful.
It really does. But look, a short pause, like 2 seconds. Used right, it sounds thoughtful, not panicked. If you need a bit longer, grab a phrase. Okay, let me just take a second to organize my thoughts on that, or, right, sort of high level. That gives you breathing room, or even, just to make sure I understand, you're asking specifically about the budget impact, correct? Buys time and clarifies.
Smart. And then moving between ideas smoothly. We need bridges, right? So it doesn't sound like just a list.
Yeah, don't just jump. Bridge it. So that covers the what. Now let's look at the why. Or maybe related to that point, we also need to think about makes it flow.
We all mess up sometimes. How do the repair chunks help fix mistakes without sounding totally flustered?
You just take control of the correction. Instead of getting tangled, you say something like, sorry, that wasn't very clear what I meant was, or let me try phrasing that more simply. It shows you're in command of the language, not the other way around.
And finishing strong. Closers, so you don't just trail off.
Right, and crisply. So in short, the next step is X, and we'll confirm Y by lunchtime. It signals you're done, provides clear closure.
Okay, practical tip for listeners then.
Yeah.
Maybe write down, what, 10 or 15 of your favorite chunks?
Exactly. Your personal go-to list. Keep it handy, maybe on your phone or a sticky note, and actually use them every day until they just roll off the tongue.
Okay, let's talk about managing that initial panic.
Right.
That first 5 seconds when the adrenaline hits and your brain just wants to run away. There's a sequence for that.
Yeah, it's crucial to have a routine for that moment. We call it the first 5-second sequence. And it has to be like physical and mental. Step 1, breathe. Seriously. Low, slow breath in, slightly longer breath out. It tells your nervous system to chill out.
Okay, breathe. Step 2.
Name your frame in your head. Just pick one. Okay, PP or problem solution. Just commit.
Got it, then.
Step 3, use an opener out loud. Grab one of those confident chunks we talked about. Okay, here's my take on that.
All right, get talking with something solid. Step 4.
Give your headline, your main point. One clear sentence. Get the core message out first.
And then step 5 is?
Continue with your frame. Now you follow the structure you picked in step 2. PA, past, present, future, whatever it is. That sequence breaks the panic cycle because you've got a plan before the rambling can even start.
Okay, so once you're actually talking, using the frame, any tips for keeping it effective?
Yeah, definitely. Think. Say less. Say it better. Use shorter sentences. One main idea per sentence. Keeps it clear for the listener and easier for you. And signal your intent. Don't make people guess. Say, I've got 2 points on this. Or let me give you a quick example. Guide them.
You mentioned pauses earlier. It feels so counterintuitive to pause when you're nervous. But you're saying a short pause is actually good.
Absolutely. A deliberate 2-second pause. It doesn't sound like panic. It sounds like you're thinking, like you're confident. Plus, it gives you a second to find the next part of your frame. Also, level up your language. Ditch the vague stuff. Instead of, we had some problems, say, we found 3 specific failure points. Or, we need to address the SymBox pattern. Use numbers, use specific nouns. It adds instant authority.
Okay, now this next one sounds interesting. The real cheat code, you called it. Active listening. How does listening help you speak better spontaneously?
It sounds backward, right? But think about it. How often do we jump in answering the question we thought we heard? Or the one we wanted to hear? Active listening means you pause just long enough to make sure you're answering the question that was actually asked, including any constraints they mentioned.
Okay, so it's about accuracy.
Exactly, and you can show you're listening. Echo back their main concern. Okay, so the key issue here is the deadline, right? Or acknowledge constraints. Got it. So we have 48 hours and no extra budget giving that. Suddenly, the pressure drops. You don't have to answer everything. You just need to address their specific point or question within their constraints. You narrow the target.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we have the tools, frames, chunks, the starting sequence, listening. How do we actually practice this effectively? You said like an athlete.
Short, frequent practice beats long, occasional study sessions every single time. You need reps. So start with 60-second sprints. Daily, non-negotiable. Pick anything, an object on your desk, a news headline. Speak about it for 60 seconds using one frame. Record yourself. Then, and this is key, listen back and give yourself one single piece of feedback, just one. Like, too many ums, or didn't state my point clearly. Work on just that one thing tomorrow.
Just one thing. Okay, I like the sound of the tabletop stack drill too. That sounds like real pressure simulation.
It is. Grab 3 random prompts. Set a timer, maybe 2 minutes per prompt. And force yourself to use a different frame for each one. PRAP, then problem solution, then rule of 3. It trains that quick thinking gear change.
And for making sure you're actually clear, especially with technical stuff, the constraint game.
Brilliant for clarity. Take a concept, maybe something from your work, like how a specific process runs. Explain it 3 ways. First, 0 jargon allowed. Second, only using metaphors. Third, in exactly 3 bullet points. It forces you to cut the fluff and get to the core idea.
Okay, and since a lot of this happens in teams, in meetings, there's something from improv comedy that helps. Build, don't block.
Yes. Crucial for collaboration. It's the yes and principle. When someone offers an idea, even if you see flaws, your first instinct shouldn't be no because. No. Instead, acknowledge and add. Yes, that's an interesting approach, and to make sure we cover the risks, let's start with a small pilot test first. You're building on their idea, not shutting it down. Makes you a collaborator, not a roadblock.
It also means asking better questions, right? Questions that help the other person.
Exactly. If someone seems stuck, don't just point out the problem. Ask something constructive, like, what would a successful outcome look like for you on this? It shifts focus towards solutions.
Let's bring it all together. The most common place for this, probably the daily stand-up meeting update, right? Super short, on the spot.
Perfect example, keep it tight, use a mini frame, headline, detail, ask, closer, 30-40 seconds max.
So, like, headline, 2 things. Bug fix and deployment status. Detail. Patch the rating engine, error rate down to 0.4%. Staging deployment is set for 4 p.m. Ask. Need QA for 20 minutes after lunch for validation. Closer. That's it for me.
Exactly. Structured, clear, actionable, zero rambling.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Spontaneous conversation, that skill of thinking on your feet, it really isn't magic. It seems to be about having a clear structure, these frames, having some ready-to-go phrases, the chunks, and knowing how to start calmly.
And it's about practice. Like those training plans we mentioned, they build it up. Days 1-3, just frames and chunks. Later, you start weaving in yes and. Then you simulate real work situations. Consistency really is everything.
We talked about the physical side, too, like breathing to calm down. But you had one final thought for us, something called status control.
Yeah, it's a bit more subtle. We focus so much on our words. But status control is about your body. Before you even say anything, just try this. Consciously slow your movement slightly. Lower your shoulders. We all tense up, right? Shoulders creep up. Drop them down. Adopt a calm, level tone of voice when you do speak. These little physical changes project stability and confidence outwards. And the cool part is that external projection feeds back internally. It can actually help settle your nerves before the words even come out.
Like a physical reset before the mental one. Interesting.
Give it a try. Before your next meeting, before you have to answer that unexpected question, just do that quick stance and posture check. See if it helps you access those frames and chunks a little faster.
Great advice. Try that status reset. That's all the time we have for today on Chat Like a Native. Thanks for tuning in.
Keep practicing. Talk to you next time.